When we talk about education, we tend to think of it as something that happens in classrooms with textbooks, assignments, and grades. But what if the real education, the kind that cracks us open and shows us what we're made of, happens every single day we dare to ask, what else is possible within me? There's a quiet bravery in that question. Because when we commit to learning daily, we commit to being uncomfortable. We sign up for the awkwardness of not knowing, the vulnerability of trying, and the humility of changing. Growth doesn't ask for your perfection, it asks for your presence. Every day you educate yourself, you're not just stacking knowledge, you're shaping identity. You're saying, I believe in my capacity to evolve. You're building emotional muscle, resilience, and self-trust. You're teaching your nervous system that you can be challenged and not crumble. You can fail and still be worthy. You can begin again, again, and again. The truth is, your potential is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to meet it halfway with discipline, yes, but also with compassion, with grace, with the courage to say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. We've been taught to believe that education has a beginning and an end. It starts at a certain age, moves through a series of grades, and eventually ends when we're handed a degree. And while formal education plays an important role, it's a dangerous myth to believe that learning is something that happens only within classrooms or under the guidance of a teacher. Real education, the kind that transforms, awakens, and frees us, is not limited by buildings, syllabi, or final exams. It's embedded in the everyday. It's found in conversations that shake your worldview, in books that whisper truths you didn't know you needed, in mistakes that humble you, in heartbreaks that crack you open wide enough to ask, what now? Institutions may offer structure, but life offers depth. Life teaches through experience, reflection, and courage. The moment you wake up and choose to live consciously, to notice your patterns, to ask questions instead of clinging to answers, to listen instead of rushing to speak, you've stepped into one of the most profound forms of education there is: self-education. The world is your curriculum. People are your teachers. Your failures are feedback. Your curiosity is the compass, and your growth, it's your degree. This kind of learning doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't require credentials. It requires presence. It requires humility. And most of all, it requires a belief that you are still worth investing in, even when no one is grading you, clapping for you, or watching you. When we realize that education is a way of being, not a place we go, everything changes. We stop waiting to be taught, and we start choosing to learn. And in that shift, we take our power back. We become students of life, not because we have to, but because we want to become more honest, more whole, more free. That's the kind of education that never ends. And more importantly, it's the kind that truly unlocks who you're meant to become. We often think of curiosity as something lighthearted, something children do when they ask 100 questions about the sky or the way ants move. But what if curiosity in its purest form is actually one of the deepest acts of self-worth we can practice as adults? To be curious is to believe that your mind is worth expanding, that your emotions are worth exploring, that your story is worth understanding. When you choose curiosity, you're saying, I matter enough to keep discovering who I am. This isn't about aimless wandering. It's about intentional, radical engagement with your inner world. It's the decision to turn toward your questions instead of away from them. To ask yourself, why do I react that way? What am I afraid of? What lights me up? What if there's another way? These are not just questions, they're invitations, invitations to evolve. And you don't ask them unless you believe that you are worth knowing more deeply. Think about it. You don't invest energy into something you think is meaningless. You don't water a plant you believe is already dead. So when you're curious, especially about your growth, your pain, your patterns, your potential, you are saying to yourself, I am still growing. I am still becoming, and I am worth the effort. Curiosity is also the antidote to shame. Shame tells us to shut down, to hide, to defend. But curiosity whispers, look closer, be gentle, stay open. And when we stay open, we soften. We stop judging ourselves so harshly and start getting interested in what we're actually feeling, why we're triggered, and how we might heal. It's a powerful shift. Curiosity allows us to meet our flaws with compassion instead of criticism. It allows us to explore possibility instead of assuming limits. It helps us replace rigidity with flexibility, fear with wonder, and perfectionism with presence. The people who grow the most are not the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who keep asking better questions. So yes, curiosity might look simple on the surface, but in practice, it is fierce, it's sacred, it's a declaration that you believe you're worth understanding, changing, and becoming. And in a world that constantly pressures you to perform, compare, or conform, choosing to be curious about your own unfolding, that is nothing short of revolutionary. We all say we want to grow. We want to evolve, improve, heal, transform, become the strongest, truest version of ourselves. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Growth is not glamorous. It's not neatly packaged in bullet points or morning routines. Growth is messy, it's tender, and above all, growth requires vulnerability. You can't grow and stay guarded at the same time. To truly grow, you have to be willing to be seen. Not the version of you that's polished and practiced, but the one that's unsure, uncertain, unfinished. That's the place where transformation begins, in the rawness of not knowing, in the discomfort of trying something new, and in the ache of facing what you've been avoiding. Vulnerability is the gateway. It's the courage to admit, I don't have it all figured out. It's the strength to say, I made a mistake and I want to learn from it. It's the bravery to let go of outdated identities and allow yourself to be in progress, even when it feels exposed or uncomfortable. This is not weakness, it's strength at its most honest. Because there's nothing easy about standing in the unknown. There's nothing easy about being willing to feel your emotions, confront your patterns, or open yourself up to feedback, failure, or change. Vulnerability is where the ego loosens its grip. It's where humility enters. It's where the heart cracks open just enough for the light to come through. And here's the truth. You cannot selectively grow. You can't just strengthen the easy parts like your skills, your productivity, your external success, while avoiding the deeper work. Real growth asks you to look at the hard stuff, your insecurities, your fears, your defensiveness, your wounds, And facing those things requires vulnerability that most people spend their entire lives running from. But when you stop running, when you stay present with the discomfort and let yourself feel instead of numb, something incredible happens. You start to shift. You gain clarity. You begin to heal, not by avoiding pain, but by walking through it with honesty. And over time, you learn that vulnerability isn't something to be feared, it's something to be trusted. It is the path to deeper connection with yourself and others. It's how we stretch beyond our old stories and find new strength in our authenticity. So if you're on the path of growth, know this. You don't have to be perfect to evolve. You just have to be willing to be open, to be real, to be vulnerable. That willingness is where everything begins. That's where the old falls away. That's where your next self is waiting. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're being shaped, not just by the people around you or the roles you play, but by what you choose to learn, reflect on, and internalize. That's the quiet truth about growth. Daily education isn't just about gathering knowledge, it's about forming identity. Who you are becoming is being built choice by choice, thought by thought, belief by belief. Every time you seek understanding, read something meaningful, ask better questions, or pause to reflect on your actions, you are actively shaping the architecture of your identity. You are molding the way you think, the way you respond to challenges, the way you show up in the world. And the most powerful identities aren't given, they're earned. Not in grand sweeping gestures, but in consistent daily decisions to evolve. This isn't about textbooks or formal lessons. It's about self-awareness. It's about saying, who am I today and who do I want to be tomorrow? It's the decision to live your life with intention, because when you're not intentional, your identity becomes reactive. You become who the world tells you to be rather than who you are truly called to be. Daily education is a radical practice of self-honoring. It says, I care enough about my future to keep showing up today. It means listening to your own inner wisdom while also being willing to challenge your conditioning. It means unlearning harmful patterns just as much as learning empowering truths. And it's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it looks like reading one page of a book that shifts your thinking. Sometimes it's writing in a journal or pausing to question an emotional trigger. Sometimes it's saying, I didn't know better yesterday, but I do now. And that changes things. Over time, this steady drip of awareness becomes identity. You don't just know more, you become more. You don't just grow smarter, you grow truer. And here's what's beautiful. No one else can do this for you. You are the architect of your becoming. You hold the blueprint, and every act of learning, every single day, is a brick in the foundation of the life you're building. So if you feel stuck or unsure of who you are, don't rush to reinvent. Just return to your learning. Return to your curiosity. Return to your commitment to know yourself better today than you did yesterday. Because in the end, identity is not something we find, it's something we create. And daily education is how we write the story of who we truly are. There's this common belief we quietly carry around that our potential is some mysterious force hidden away in a distant corner of the universe, waiting to be discovered like buried treasure. And because of that, we spend so much of our lives searching for signs, for proof, for permission. We ask, where is it? When will I find it? Why hasn't it shown up yet? But here's the truth that most people never get told. Your potential isn't hiding. It's not lost. It's not missing. It's been with you all along, waiting for your belief, waiting for your effort, waiting for you to stop waiting. See, potential isn't something outside of you. It's not something other people give you, validate, or awaken for you. It's already woven into who you are. It lives quietly beneath the surface, not because it's shy, but because it needs your participation to rise. Your potential doesn't need to be found. It needs to be chosen. And that choice doesn't come from a single moment of clarity. It comes from hundreds of small moments where you show up for yourself, where you take a risk, where you try again, where you stop playing small just to stay comfortable. Potential reveals itself not in certainty, but in movement. It's waiting in the uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding. It's waiting in the book you haven't opened yet. It's waiting in the decision you keep postponing because fear still has a louder voice than faith. It's waiting in the habits, the mindset shifts, the daily effort, because that's where growth takes root. And here's the hard truth: your potential cannot manifest in the safety of who you've always been. It needs you to stretch. It needs you to step into rooms that challenge you. It needs you to break the old narratives that tell you you're not ready, not qualified, or not enough. Those are not truths. They're limits. And your potential is waiting for you to stop letting limits do the talking. There is a version of you on the other side of doubt, stronger, clearer, more grounded. That version doesn't arrive fully formed. You grow into them one intentional day at a time. So stop asking if you're capable. Start asking, what's one step I can take today to meet my potential halfway? Because it's not hiding. It's not running. It's not waiting for perfection. It's simply waiting for you. We often think of learning as something academic, an obligation tied to classrooms, teachers, or career advancement. But strip it down to its essence and you'll realize something deeper, more powerful. Learning is not just a skill, it's a form of liberation. To learn is to break free, free from old assumptions, free from inherited beliefs that were never truly yours, free from the internalized stories that keep whispering, this is all you'll ever be. Every time you choose to learn about yourself, about the world, about how things work, or why you feel the way you do, you're choosing to reclaim your power. Because ignorance, especially self-imposed ignorance, is a kind of cage. It keeps you stuck in patterns. It keeps you bound to fear. It convinces you that this is just how things are and that growth is for other people, not you. But when you learn, even in small ways, you begin to unlock those bars. You realize you're not powerless. You've just been unequipped. You see that your past doesn't have to dictate your future. You understand that your mind is not fixed, your identity is not final, and your story is still being written. That's what learning does. It opens doors, it dismantles walls. It gives you language for emotions you couldn't name. It gives you tools to heal what you once thought was unfixable. It helps you ask better questions, which lead to better choices, which lead to a better life. And here's something vital. Learning doesn't have to be loud to be liberating. It doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes it's the quiet, unseen moment where you recognize a pattern and decide to break it. Sometimes it's the chapter of a book that shifts how you view your worth. Sometimes it's simply listening to a podcast, to a mentor, to your own inner voice, and realizing, I don't have to live like this anymore. That's liberation, not just freedom from external limits, but freedom from the internal prisons we build around fear, shame, and self-doubt. The world may try to restrict you. People may try to define you. Circumstances may try to contain you. But when you become committed to learning every single day, you become your own revolution. You begin to rise, not because everything is perfect, but because you now understand that you are capable of more. You begin to speak differently, move differently, love yourself differently, because a liberated mind is a dangerous thing. It doesn't settle. It doesn't shrink. It doesn't beg for permission. It becomes, and in that becoming, it unlocks a truth most people never reach. You were never trapped by life. You were only waiting to learn your way out. Learning is not a task to check off. It's a way of being. It is the gentle daily rebellion against stagnation. It's how we tell ourselves, I believe I can still become. Because every time you choose to educate yourself, whether through reading, reflecting, listening, or simply paying closer attention, you are reclaiming something sacred, your voice, your power, your identity. You're saying no to fear, no to limitation, no to the idea that you have to stay where you've always been. Your evolution does not require permission. It requires intention. It requires self-respect. It requires the willingness to stay curious even when it's uncomfortable. And most of all, it requires the courage to show up for your becoming, not once, but every day. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan or a fancy degree. You just need to start, to keep learning, to keep questioning, to keep growing. Because this is how we unlock our true potential. Not by waiting for life to change, but by learning our way into a version of ourselves that's too expansive, too grounded, and too awake to ever go back to who we were before. So keep going and keep learning. Keep showing up for the future version of you that already knows you are worth the effort. And every day you choose growth, you are already becoming them. Good evening, my friends. I want to talk about something today that touches each one of us in some way or another, the art of feeling good, even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, unexpected moments of pain, failure, and loss that can leave us feeling unsteady, unsure, or even defeated. But what if I told you that even in those darkest times, you can cultivate a sense of peace and even joy? This is not about ignoring the hard stuff or pretending everything is fine. No, it's about leaning into the discomfort and still finding your footing. It's about finding the courage to hold on to hope and build resilience when life gets messy. One of the most critical steps in navigating difficult times is learning to acknowledge your feelings fully and without judgment. This can sound simple, but in reality, it is one of the hardest things to do because we've been conditioned to believe that some emotions are good and others are bad. Sadness, anger, frustration, fear, these feelings often get labeled as negative, something to avoid or suppress. But the truth is, every emotion we feel has a purpose. They are messengers trying to tell us something important about ourselves and our experiences. When everything is going wrong, our natural instinct might be to push those feelings away. We tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to be stronger. We might even feel shame for struggling, as though being overwhelmed is a personal failure. But let me remind you of this, there is no wrong way to feel. Your emotions are valid because they are yours, they are part of your story, and they deserve to be honored. Acknowledging your feelings starts with giving yourself permission to feel without attaching labels or judgments to those emotions. Imagine your emotions as waves in the ocean. Some are small and gentle, others are massive and overwhelming. But they all rise and fall. When you resist them, when you try to push them back, they grow stronger and more chaotic. However, when you let them come, observe them, and allow them to pass, you discover that they don't last forever. Take a moment to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Maybe it's anger because something didn't turn out the way you planned. Maybe it's sadness because you've lost something or someone important to you. Maybe it's fear, uncertainty about what's coming next. Whatever it is, name it. Naming your emotions helps you gain clarity. It's like shining a flashlight in a dark room. Suddenly, the shadows aren't as scary. But acknowledgement is not the same as wallowing. The goal isn't to sink into those feelings and let them control you. It's to face them with compassion. Speak to yourself as you would a dear friend. Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this way, try saying, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. That small shift creates space for healing. If this feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable, know that it's a practice, not perfection. You might even find it helpful to write down your feelings in a journal. Write without worrying about grammar or structure. Just let the words flow. Sometimes seeing your emotions written out can help you process them in ways that thinking or talking cannot. Remember that acknowledging your feelings doesn't mean you have to solve them immediately. Not every problem needs an instant solution, and not every emotion needs to be fixed. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply sit with your feelings, allow them to exist, and remind yourself that you're human. By acknowledging your emotions without judgment, you're not just validating your experience, you're taking a powerful step towards self-awareness and self-acceptance. It's a reminder to yourself that you are not broken for feeling deeply. You are alive, and feeling even the hard stuff is proof of that. In a world that often glorifies perfection, it can be incredibly difficult to embrace the truth that none of us are flawless. Yet accepting imperfection is one of the most liberating choices you can make, especially when everything feels like it's going wrong. Life itself is imperfect, messy, unpredictable, and full of challenges. The sooner we make peace with that truth, the sooner we can begin to live authentically and with greater freedom. To embrace imperfection, we first need to recognize how deeply ingrained the pursuit of perfection has become in our lives. From a young age, many of us are taught that success means getting it all right every grade, every project, every relationship. We carry this expectation into adulthood, believing that mistakes are unacceptable, that failures define us, and that our worth is tied to how perfectly we perform. But striving for perfection is an impossible standard. It leaves us constantly chasing something that doesn't exist, setting ourselves up for frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. When life isn't going as planned, imperfection often feels like failure. You might look at your career, relationships, or personal goals and think, why couldn't I have done better? What's wrong with me? But here's the truth: imperfection is not failure, it's part of being human. It's a reminder that life is not a straight, polished path, but a winding journey filled with both triumphs and setbacks. Embracing imperfection starts with letting go of the idea that your worth is tied to how well you perform. It means recognizing that you are not defined by your mistakes or the areas where you fall short. Instead of berating yourself for what went wrong, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love. Would you call a close friend a failure because they didn't get everything right? Of course not. You'd remind them of their strengths, their efforts, and their humanity. Give yourself that same grace. Another important aspect of embracing imperfection is understanding that your value doesn't depend on how you compare to others. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. Social media, in particular, can make it seem like everyone else is living a perfect life while you're struggling. But remember, what you see is only part of the story. Everyone has their own challenges, doubts, and imperfections. They just might not share them publicly. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your unique journey, you begin to see the beauty in your imperfections. Those flaws and struggles are what make you relatable and real. They are the threads that connect you to others because they remind us all that we're not alone in our struggles. One way to practice embracing imperfection is to shift your perspective on mistakes. Instead of viewing them as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Every misstep holds a lesson if you're willing to look for it. Ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I use this experience to become stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? When you approach mistakes with curiosity rather than criticism, you transform them into stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. It's also important to celebrate progress over perfection. Life isn't about achieving a flawless outcome. It's about showing up and doing your best, even when it's hard. Maybe you didn't accomplish everything you hoped for today, but did you try? Did you take one small step forward? That's enough. Celebrate those efforts, no matter how small they may seem, because they are proof of your resilience. Embracing imperfection means accepting that life will never be perfect, and that's okay. The beauty of life lies in its unpredictability, its messiness, and its surprises. When you let go of the need for everything to be perfect, you create space for joy, growth, and connection. You allow yourself to be fully present, to laugh at your mistakes, and to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. So my friend, give yourself permission to let go of perfection. You don't have to have it all together to be worthy of love, happiness, and peace. You are enough, just as you are beautifully, wonderfully imperfect. Chaos can feel overwhelming, disorienting, and even crushing. When life feels like it's falling apart, it's easy to believe that nothing good can come from the mess. Yet some of the most profound growth, clarity, and transformation often emerge from the very moments that feel the most chaotic. Finding meaning in chaos doesn't mean minimizing the pain or pretending the difficulties don't exist. Instead, it's about choosing to look deeper and discovering the lessons, opportunities, and truths that the chaos may hold. Chaos is a part of life. Whether it comes in the form of unexpected challenges, heartbreak, or the unraveling of well-laid plans, it is inevitable. But here's the remarkable thing about chaos. It has a way of breaking down what no longer serves us and making room for something new. Chaos, though painful, can be a catalyst for change. It forces us to step back, reevaluate, and consider what truly matters. The first step to finding meaning in chaos is to resist the urge to fight against it. Our instinct is often to push back, to control, to fix everything as quickly as possible. But chaos isn't something that can always be tamed. Sometimes the more we resist, the more entangled we become. Instead, try to pause and accept the reality of the situation. Acceptance doesn't mean you like or approve of what's happening. It simply means you stop resisting its existence. When you stop fighting the chaos, you create space to observe it, to sit with it, and eventually to learn from it. Finding meaning also requires asking yourself important questions. What is this chaos revealing about your life, your values, or your priorities? Sometimes chaos shines a light on the areas of our lives that need attention or change. It might reveal that you've been stretched too thin, chasing things that don't align with your true purpose. Or it might uncover hidden strengths and resilience you didn't realize you had. Chaos, though uncomfortable, often holds up a mirror to show us who we are and who we are becoming. Another powerful way to find meaning in chaos is to reflect on your long-term journey. Think back to other times in your life when things felt out of control. At the time, you may have wondered, why is this happening to me? But looking back, can you see how those moments shaped you? Maybe they taught you patience, courage, or empathy. Maybe they pushed you toward a new path or helped you discover a part of yourself you didn't know existed. Chaos, in hindsight, often turns out to be a pivotal chapter in our story one that leads to growth and transformation. In the midst of chaos, it's also helpful to focus on small, actionable steps rather than trying to solve everything at once. Meaning doesn't always come in grand revelation sometimes. It comes in the quiet, consistent acts of choosing to keep going. Maybe you can't see the big picture right now, but you can take one small step forward. You can reach out for support, create a plan for the next day, or simply remind yourself to breathe. Each step is a way of saying, this chaos won't define me. I will find my way through. Finding meaning in chaos also involves gratitude. While this may seem counterintuitive, gratitude doesn't mean you're thankful for the chaos itself. It means you're choosing to notice the good that still exists alongside it. Even in the darkest moments, there are flickers of light, a kind word from a friend, a moment of laughter, or a reminder of your own resilience. These small moments of gratitude ground you, reminding you that even amidst the mess, life still holds beauty and purpose. Finding meaning in chaos is about hope. It's about trusting that the chaos you're experiencing now is not the end of your story. It's believing that something greater is on the other side, even if you can't see it yet. Hope isn't naive, it's courageous. It's a declaration that no matter how difficult things may seem, you have the strength to keep moving forward and the wisdom to learn from whatever life throws your way. Chaos is not just a disruption, it's an invitation. It invites you to reflect, to grow, and to reconnect with your inner strength and purpose. It challenges you to let go of what no longer serves you and make room for something new. So when life feels like it's spinning out of control, take a moment to pause, breathe, look deeper. Trust that even in the chaos, there is meaning waiting to be discovered. You are stronger than the chaos, and with time and courage, you will not only find your way through, but emerge transformed. When life feels overwhelming and everything seems to be going wrong, gratitude might be the last thing on your mind. After all, how can you feel thankful when your plans are unraveling, your heart is heavy, or the future feels uncertain? But here's the truth: gratitude is not about ignoring your pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about shifting your focus, even momentarily, to recognize the small gifts that still exist in the midst of life's challenges. Gratitude, especially for the small things, is a powerful act of resistance against despair. It's a way of saying, I may not control everything, but I can still find moments of beauty and grace. It doesn't erase hardship, but it gives you the strength to face it with a more open heart and a clearer mind. The first step in cultivating gratitude is to slow down and take notice. When chaos consumes us, we often move through our days on autopilot, too focused on what's going wrong to see anything else. But what if you paused, even for a moment, to look around? What do you see, hear, or feel that you can appreciate? Maybe it's the warmth of sunlight on your face, the comfort of a hot cup of coffee, or the sound of laughter from a loved one. These small moments might seem insignificant, but they are reminders that even in hard times, life still offers goodness. Gratitude for the small things requires practice. It's not a switch you flip, but a muscle you strengthen over time. One powerful way to build this habit is by keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things, no matter how small, that you are grateful for. They don't have to be grand gestures or life-changing events. In fact, the smaller the better. Maybe you're thankful for the way the rain sounded on your window, the kind smile of a stranger, or the resilience you showed just by getting through the day. As you build this practice, you'll notice a subtle but profound shift in your perspective. Gratitude has a way of magnifying the good and minimizing the weight of the bad. It doesn't mean your struggles disappear, but it changes how you carry them. Instead of feeling burdened by everything that's wrong, you start to feel supported by everything that's right. Another way to cultivate gratitude is to express it outwardly. Take a moment to thank the people around you, the ones who support you, who make you laugh, who show up when you need them most. A simple thank you can deepen your connections and remind you that you're not alone in your journey. Gratitude, when shared, multiplies. It's also important to practice gratitude for yourself. Yes, you, the person who is still standing despite the challenges, who keeps going even when it's hard. Be grateful for your strength, your perseverance, and your ability to grow through difficulty. Gratitude isn't just about the world outside you, it's also about recognizing and honoring the resilience within you. In moments of deep struggle, you may find it hard to feel grateful at all. That's okay. Gratitude doesn't have to feel big or overwhelming. It can start with the smallest spark. Maybe you're grateful for a single deep breath or the fact that you made it through another day. Start there. Gratitude is not about perfection, it's about presence. What makes gratitude so transformative is its ability to shift your focus from scarcity to abundance. When we're consumed by chaos, we tend to see what's missing, what we've lost, what's broken, what we lack. But gratitude reminds us of what we still have, what's still working, and what's still possible. It teaches us to find joy not in the absence of difficulty, but in the presence of life itself. As you cultivate gratitude for the small things, you'll find that it becomes a source of strength and hope. It doesn't solve every problem or make the chaos disappear, but it gives you the tools to navigate life's storms with grace. It reminds you that even in the darkest times, there is light. Even in the hardest moments, there is something to be thankful for. So pause for a moment today. Look around, notice the small things, the things you might have overlooked in the rush of life. Let yourself feel gratitude, however small or fleeting, because in those moments you are reminded that life, even when imperfect, is still a gift. And that is something worth holding on to. In the moments when everything feels like it's going wrong, one of the most courageous acts you can take is to ask for help. It's not easy to reach out when you're struggling. Society often teaches us to value independence, to solve our own problems, and to carry our burdens quietly. But the truth is, no one navigates life alone. We are wired for connection, and in our most challenging times, leaning on others is not a sign of weakness, it's a testament to our strength and humanity. Asking for help can feel vulnerable. It requires admitting that you don't have all the answers or that you're struggling to carry the weight of your circumstances. But vulnerability is not a flaw, it's the birthplace of true connection. When you open yourself up to others, you create space for them to show up for you, to offer their support, and to remind you that you are not alone. The first step in asking for help is to recognize that it's okay to need it. Many of us hold the false belief that we must be strong all the time, that seeking support makes us less capable. But think about it when someone you care about asks you for help. Do you see them as weak? Or do you see their courage in reaching out? Offering help is an act of love, and allowing others to help us gives them the opportunity to express their care and compassion. Building connections during difficult times starts with honesty. Be willing to share your struggles with trusted friends, family members, or even a counselor or support group. You don't have to share everything or dive into every detail sometimes. Just saying, I'm having a hard time and I could use some support is enough. These moments of transparency invite others to step in and remind you that you are supported, loved, and valued. Connections are not only about receiving help, they're also about reciprocity. When you're able, look for opportunities to support others in their struggles. Helping someone else can remind you of your own strength and create a sense of purpose even in the midst of your challenges. It's a beautiful cycle. When we reach out for help, we inspire others to do the same, and when we offer support, we reinforce the bonds that keep us all connected. Community plays a vital role in weathering life's storms. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift and encourage you can make all the difference. Seek out those who listen without judgment, who remind you of your worth, and who stand by you in both the highs and the lows. Sometimes the most healing thing you can hear is, "I'm here for you." And if you find yourself feeling isolated, remember that building connections takes time and effort. Don't be afraid to join groups, attend gatherings, or explore communities where you can meet others who share similar interests or values. Sometimes the people who provide the most profound support in your life are the ones you haven't met yet. Asking for help in building connections is also about creating a network of resilience. The people you surround yourself with become a source of strength and hope. They remind you of the bigger picture when you feel lost in the details. They celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and hold you up when you feel like you can't stand on your own. It's important to remember that asking for help doesn't always mean finding a solution. Sometimes it's about having someone to sit with you in your pain, to listen without trying to fix, or to simply say, "I understand." This kind of support is invaluable. It reminds you that you don't have to have all the answers or carry the burden alone. In moments of chaos and struggle, human connection becomes a lifeline. It's a reminder that no matter how heavy the load, you don't have to carry it alone. And when you let others in, you create opportunities for healing, growth, and shared strength. So if you're struggling, take a deep breath and reach out. Call a friend, send a text, or start a conversation. Ask for help. It's one of the bravest things you can do. Because in the end, it's not just about surviving the hard times, it's about remembering that you are part of a greater web of love, compassion, and connection. And together, we are always stronger than we are alone. In the midst of life's hardest moments, when everything feels like it's falling apart, there's often a desperate yearning for certainty. We want to know that things will get better, that our struggles will end, that there's a clear path forward. But the truth is, life rarely offers guarantees. The future is always unknown, and the outcomes we crave may not unfold exactly as we hope. This is where the power of hope becomes essential, a force that sustains us not because of certainty, but despite the lack of it. Hope is not about pretending everything is fine or ignoring reality. It's about believing in the possibility of a better tomorrow, even when today feels unbearable. It's about finding a reason to keep going, even when the road ahead is unclear. Hope is not tied to a specific outcome. It's a mindset, a decision to trust that life can hold something good, even when we can't yet see it. Choosing hope requires courage. It asks us to embrace uncertainty and to keep moving forward without knowing exactly where we'll end up. This can feel counterintuitive. After all, our instincts often tell us to seek control and clarity. But hope teaches us to release the need for certainty and instead focus on the possibilities that lie beyond our current struggles. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate hope is by reframing the way we view setbacks and challenges. Instead of seeing them as the end of the road, we can choose to see them as part of a larger story, one that is still unfolding. Every difficulty you face can become a stepping stone, a chapter in a narrative that leads to growth, resilience, and eventual triumph. Hope thrives when we recognize that the pain of the present doesn't have to define the entirety of our future. Hope also asks us to focus on what we can control, no matter how small. When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to become paralyzed by the enormity of our problems. But even in the darkest times, there are small actions we can take to move forward. These actions, whether it's reaching out for support, practicing gratitude, or simply taking the next step, are acts of hope in themselves. They remind us that we are not powerless, that we can influence our own journey, even in the face of uncertainty. Another key to choosing hope is surrounding yourself with stories and symbols that inspire you. Read about others who have overcome adversity, listen to music that uplifts your spirit, or reflect on moments in your own life when things seemed impossible but eventually got better. These reminders can reignite the flame of hope within you and give you the strength to keep going. It's important to acknowledge that hope is not always easy to find. There will be days when it feels out of reach, when the weight of your struggles makes it hard to see anything beyond the pain. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Hope doesn't have to be loud or overpowering sometimes. It's as simple as a whisper, a tiny flicker in the dark. Even the smallest glimmer of hope can be enough to carry you through. Choosing hope over certainty also means embracing the beauty of the unknown. Life's unpredictability, while often daunting, is also what makes it so rich and full of possibility. The very fact that the future is unwritten means that it holds infinite potential. What if the challenges you're facing now are preparing you for something greater? What if the very uncertainty you fear is the space where growth and transformation take root? Hope connects us to something larger than ourselves. It reminds us that we are part of a bigger story, one that is still unfolding. It gives us permission to dream, to imagine, and to believe that even in our hardest moments, life still holds the potential for joy, love, and fulfillment. So when you're faced with uncertainty and doubt, choose hope. Not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. Not because it guarantees a specific outcome, but because it sustains you through the journey. Hope doesn't promise that life will be perfect or that all your struggles will vanish. But it does promise this, that you are not alone, that better days are possible, and that you have the strength to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Choosing hope is an act of defiance against despair. It's a declaration that no matter how hard life gets, you believe in the possibility of something better. And that belief, even when it feels fragile, is what gives you the courage to face the unknown with an open heart and a resilient spirit. Let hope be your anchor in the storm, your light in the darkness, and your companion on the road ahead. Life has a way of throwing us into storms we never saw coming. The moments when everything seems to be going wrong can feel overwhelming, isolating, and impossible to navigate. But within these moments lies an extraordinary opportunity, a chance to rise, to grow, and to rediscover the strength and resilience that has always been within you. You've learned to acknowledge your feelings without judgment, creating space for self-compassion and healing. You've embraced imperfection, letting go of the impossible standards that keep you tethered to shame. You've found meaning in chaos, transforming struggles into stepping stones for growth. You've cultivated gratitude for the small things, shifting your focus to the quiet joys that sustain you. You've asked for help, allowing yourself to connect deeply with others and be reminded of the power of community. And you've chosen hope over certainty, daring to believe in a brighter tomorrow, even when the path ahead remains unclear. Each of these choices is an act of courage. Together, they remind us that even when life feels out of control, we still hold immense power within ourselves, the power to persevere, to adapt, and to transform our pain into purpose. So when everything feels like it's falling apart, remember this: you are not defined by your struggles. You are defined by how you rise in the face of them. Allow yourself to feel, to be vulnerable, to ask for help, and to hold on to hope, even if it feels like the smallest flicker. These are the tools that will carry you forward. The storms of life don't last forever, but the lessons they teach can shape us for a lifetime. And when the sky's clear, you'll find that you're not the same person who entered the storm. You'll be stronger, braver, and more connected to your true self. Hold on to the belief that better days are ahead. You are capable of weathering this season, not because everything will suddenly be perfect, but because you are resilient. You are enough. And even in the midst of chaos, you have the power to feel good, to find peace, and to keep moving forward with courage and grace. Good morning. Let's begin with this simple truth. You are not here to live an average life. But no one hands you a fortune just because you decide you're ready. Before the vision boards, before the 5 a.m. wake-ups, before the perfectly curated goals, you have to stop and ask yourself, whose life am I really living? Because if you're chasing fortune from a place of pretending you're fine, pretending you have no doubts, then what you're building isn't real, it's fragile. One strong wind and the whole thing will fall. Owning your story isn't a catchphrase, it's a reckoning. It's sitting down with the parts of your life you've tried to outrun, your failures, your heartbreaks, the decisions you wish you could do over, and saying, I see you, and I'm not hiding you anymore. Here's the hard truth. You can't outrun pain and expect to find purpose. You can't numb your way through disappointment and expect to feel proud of your success. When you own your story, you reclaim your power. You say, this is what shaped me, but it doesn't define me. You don't need a perfect past to build a powerful future. What you need is truth. And truth doesn't wear makeup. It doesn't speak in slogans. It's messy, uncomfortable, vulnerable, and it's where all your strength lives. We've been taught that to succeed, we have to have it all together. But the opposite is true. The most magnetic people you know, they're not perfect. They're real. The leaders who create fortune, they are the ones who hide their scars. They're the ones who say, this is where I fell and this is how I got back up. There's nothing average about someone who owns their full self. There's nothing more powerful than standing in a room and saying, this is me, flawed, resilient, growing, still here. So if you want to rise, if you want to shift from average to extraordinary, you have to start right here. No more hiding, no more shrinking, no more waiting until you're ready. You are not your mistakes. You are not your parents' choices. You are not your bank account, your job title, or the version of you someone else decided you should be. You are your resilience. You are your values. You are your comeback story waiting to be lived out loud. And that is the foundation of fortune, because fortune favors the brave. And bravery begins with honesty. Once you've owned your story, once you've stopped running and started standing, you face the next challenge. How do you move forward when fear still walks beside you? You build brave habits, not big dramatic leaps, not a total life overhaul in a weekend, just small, steady acts of courage that you choose on purpose and over again. We love the idea of bravery when it's packaged as a movie moment, standing on stage, quitting the job, launching the dream. But real bravery, it shows up in the quiet daily decisions you make when nobody's clapping for you. Bravery is saying no when yes would be easier. It's raising your hand when your voice shakes. It's sending the proposal, making the ask, booking the therapy session, resting when your worth is tied to productivity. And here's the kicker. Bravery isn't a personality trait, it's a practice. It's not about being fearless, it's about being scared and moving anyway. It's not a one-time event, it's a rhythm you build with intention. We don't become brave overnight. We become brave by doing one hard thing today, then another tomorrow, and again the day after that, until courage becomes your muscle memory. That's what habits are. Repeated, small agreements with yourself. So if you want to go from average to fortune, don't start by asking, what's the fastest route? Ask, what can I do daily that honors the person I want to become? Maybe it's journaling your truth every morning instead of scrolling. Maybe it's 5 cold calls a day. Maybe it's choosing a hard conversation over quiet resentment. Maybe it's simply putting your phone down and being fully present with your kids, your partner, or your own soul. And yes, it's going to feel awkward, clumsy, exposed, but fortune doesn't come to the most talented or the most privileged. It comes to the most consistent. Here's something people don't say enough. Habits are spiritual. Every habit is a declaration of your identity. Every brave habit is a whisper to the universe that says, I believe I am meant for more. Let go of the idea that fortune comes in one big break. It comes in the cumulative weight of 1,000 small, brave choices. So start there. Don't wait to feel confident. Start when you still feel uncertain, unpolished, unprepared. Start with shaky hands, with a tight throat, with your inner critic screaming. Just start. And then keep showing up. Because bravery compounds, and brave habits build unshakable people. And unshakable people build lives that are anything but average. Do you want me to continue with choosing discomfort over regret next in the same town? Here's the truth that most people spend their lives trying to avoid. Growth will cost you something, and you get to decide what that cost will be: temporary discomfort or lifelong regret. That's the deal. That's the trade. We are wired to seek comfort. We cling to the familiar even when it's unfulfilling, even when it's keeping us small, even when it's quietly eating away at our dreams. Because comfort feels safe, it feels controllable. But here's what no one tells you. Comfort zones are not safe zones. They are often the most dangerous places to stay because nothing new grows there. Discomfort is where change happens. It's the gym for your spirit. It's the fire where courage gets forged. It's where the version of you who has what you want is waiting. And the longer you stay stuck in what's easy, the harder it gets to live with what could have been. There's a specific ache that comes with regret. It's quiet, it lingers, it shows up in sentences like, I should have spoken up, I wish I tried, I don't know what could have happened because I never gave it a real shot. And here's the painful part. Most people think they're avoiding pain by staying comfortable, but they're not. They're just postponing it. You will feel pain either way, but one kind of pain moves you forward, the other keeps you stuck. When you choose discomfort, whether it's waking up early to pursue your dream, telling the truth when lying would be easier, or walking away from something that's fine but not aligned, you're planting seeds. They might take time to grow, but they will. You will build grit. You will gain clarity. You will develop unshakable self-trust. Because the moment you survive a hard thing you didn't think you could, you expand. And no one, not fear, not failure, not that voice in your head, can take that expansion away from you. The discomfort you feel now is the price you pay for a life that feels like yours, not someone else's expectation, not someone else's version of success, yours. So ask yourself, would I rather be uncomfortable for a season or regretful for a lifetime? Fortune doesn't belong to those who play it safe. It belongs to those who risk awkwardness, rejection, vulnerability, uncertainty for something more real. So when your knees shake and your doubt gets loud, remember, this discomfort, it's not punishment, it's proof you're on the edge of something powerful, something worth it. Let it burn, let it shape you, let it make you braver than you've ever been, because that is how regret loses, and that is how fortune begins. Let's be honest, we talk about time like it's our most valuable asset, but if you're exhausted, burned out, and emotionally bankrupt, what good is more time? Time might be the frame, but energy is the art. Energy is what fuels your ideas, your voice, your relationships, your creativity, your courage. And when you spend it mindlessly, you start living someone else's life. We've been conditioned to hustle, to grind, to prove our worth by how busy we are. But busyness is not a badge of honor. It's often a sign of leaky boundaries, poor priorities, and unexamined fears about saying no. So here's the reframe. Your energy is a currency, and you are the bank. If you gave someone $1,000, you'd want to know what they were doing with it, right? You'd expect a return, or at least a reason. But how many times do you give away your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy without a second thought? To drama you didn't ask for, to people who drain instead of nourish, to commitments that keep you performing instead of aligning. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's sacred. Because every yes you give is a withdrawal. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself overdrawn, showing up in rooms with a smile and nothing behind it, showing up for others while abandoning yourself. So let's get practical. Start asking, is this energizing me or draining me? Does this serve my growth or just my guilt? Am I doing this from love or from fear of disappointing someone? Protecting your energy might mean turning your phone off for a day. It might mean not responding to that text. It might mean saying, I don't have the capacity right now. It might mean building better systems, firmer boundaries, longer pauses. Here's what's wild. When you protect your energy, you show up more fully in fewer places. And those places become powerful. You stop scattering yourself. You start concentrating yourself. And that's where the magic is. Because here's the deeper truth. You are not average. But when you give your energy to everything, you water yourself down to fit into anything. You are meant to live on purpose. And that requires being selective, intentional, discerning, not because you're better than anyone, but because your energy is your life force. And it deserves to be invested, not wasted. You don't need to do more. You need to guard what fuels you. And when you do that, when you protect your energy like the sacred currency it is, you create the conditions for fortune to grow. Not just external success, but internal wealth, peace, focus, power. That's the kind of fortune that doesn't fade. One to wrap the series with the final one, making meaning before money. Let's talk about something no one wants to admit. You can make a lot of money and still feel broke inside. You can hit the numbers, get the title, land the house, the following, the status, and still wake up asking, why does none of this feel like enough? Because money is a tool, but meaning is the foundation. We're taught to chase the external first, build the brand, stack the cash, level up, stay grinding. But without purpose, without depth, without soul, it's all noise. There's nothing wrong with money, let's be clear. Money is powerful, it's freedom, it's choice, it's impact. But when it's your starting point instead of your byproduct, you lose yourself trying to win a game you never even meant to play. So here's the shift. Start with meaning, start with mission, start with what matters. What lights you up, what breaks your heart wide open. What are you willing to risk being misunderstood for? Because that is where fortune actually lives. You don't need to wait until you make it to find meaning. You need to build it into the bones of what you're doing now. The most fulfilled, grounded, successful people aren't chasing wealth. They're chasing alignment. They've decided that the how matters just as much as the what. They'd rather make less doing something that feeds their soul than make more while slowly abandoning themselves. Here's something that might shake you up. If you get everything you think you want, but you have to betray your values to get it, is it really fortune? If you're exhausted, cynical, disconnected from your joy, your purpose, your people, what's the real cost? So ask yourself, who am I becoming in pursuit of this? Would I be proud of this path even if no one clapped for it? If I stripped away the status, the applause, the outcome, would I still love what I'm doing? Meaning isn't something you find, it's something you build through intention, through integrity, through choosing depth over dopamine. And here's the beautiful twist. When you prioritize meaning, the money doesn't disappear. In fact, it comes with more ease, more joy, more magnetism, because you're no longer faking it. You're aligned. And alignment is powerful. It makes you unstoppable without making you inauthentic. The world doesn't need more wealthy people who are spiritually bankrupt. It needs more whole people building wealth that ripples, that restores, that matters. So before you chase the money, get clear on the meaning, because meaning first doesn't mean less money, it means better money, cleaner money, more honest, heart-connected, legacy level kind of money, the kind that doesn't just pay bills, it changes lives. Starting with yours, let me say this as clearly as I can. You don't have to earn your worth. You don't have to hustle for it. You don't have to prove it to anyone, not your parents, not your past, not even that voice in your head that keeps moving the finish line. You are worthy right now, not when you lose the weight, not when your business hits 6 figures, not when you get the call, the deal, the applause. Now, in this breath, in this moment. And I know that's hard to believe, because most of us were taught to tie our worth to something outside of us. Grades, awards, attention, success, obedience, being liked, being perfect. So we learned to perform, to shapeshift, to climb, to compare. We became masters at becoming what the world rewarded, even if it meant slowly disconnecting from who we actually are. But let me ask you something. How much of your energy right now is going toward trying to become enough instead of simply being enough? Because here's the paradox. You can't build a fortune if you don't believe you're already worthy of one. You'll sabotage it. You'll shrink from it. You'll deflect the opportunities, the praise, the expansion, because deep down some part of you still believed you haven't earned it. This step, it's about radical self-permission. It's standing in your story, the messy parts, the beautiful parts, the in-progress parts, and saying, this is me, and this version of me is already enough to begin. Because worthiness is not a reward, it's a birthright. And trusting your worthiness isn't arrogance, it's the opposite, it's humility. It's saying, I am no better or worse than anyone else. I just refuse to keep living as if I'm not allowed to take up space. Imagine what would happen if you stopped waiting for someone to give you permission to speak, to start, to be seen, to be celebrated, to rest, to rise. Imagine if you gave it to yourself, because fortune, real, lasting fortune, doesn't flow to people who beg for their value. It flows to people who...
Time is often described as one of our most precious resources. Unlike money, once time is spent, it cannot be replenished. This scarcity makes it essential to recognize and appreciate the true value of every moment we have. Understanding the value of time involves several key perspectives. 1. Time is a non-renewable resource each day. We are granted a limited number of hours. Once they pass, they become part of our past, never to be regained. This reality underscores the importance of making conscious choices about how we allocate our time. It challenges us to prioritize activities that bring us fulfillment and align with our long-term goals. 2. Time and life quality, the way we spend our time, directly impacts our quality of life. Engaging in meaningful activities, whether that's nurturing relationships, pursuing passions, or focusing on personal growth, can enhance our overall happiness. Conversely, spending excessive time on unproductive or draining tasks can lead to dissatisfaction and regret. By valuing our time, we can create a life that feels rich and purposeful. 3. Opportunity cost. Every choice we make comes with an opportunity cost, the benefits we forego by not choosing an alternative. When we waste time on trivial pursuits, we miss out on opportunities for personal and professional growth. Being mindful of this concept encourages us to invest our time wisely, making decisions that align with our aspirations. 4. Time and relationships. The relationships we build are a reflection of how we choose to spend our time. Investing time in family, friends, and communities fosters connections that enrich our lives. Meaningful interactions often require deliberate effort, and prioritizing these relationships can lead to a more fulfilling existence. 5. Mindfulness and presence. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become distracted or overwhelmed. Practicing mindfulness, being fully present in each moment, allows us to appreciate the beauty and significance of our experiences. When we engage mindfully, we can derive greater satisfaction from our activities and deepen our connections with others. 6. Legacy and impact. Ultimately, how we choose to spend our time contributes to the legacy we leave behind. Our actions and choices not only shape our lives, but also influence those around us. By valuing our time, we can make intentional decisions that lead to a positive impact, inspiring others to do the same. Setting clear priorities is a fundamental skill that enables us to navigate life's complexities effectively. In a world filled with distractions and endless demands on our time, prioritization becomes essential for achieving our goals and maintaining balance. Here are several key aspects to consider when establishing and refining your priorities. 1. Understanding what matters most. To set clear priorities, you must first identify what truly matters to you. This involves reflecting on your values, passions, and long-term goals. Are you focused on career advancement, personal relationships, health, or perhaps a combination of these? By understanding what holds the most significance in your life, you can begin to categorize your tasks and activities accordingly. Consider creating a personal mission statement that encapsulates your core values, serving as a guiding light in your decision-making process. 2. The Eisenhower Matrix. One effective tool for prioritization is the Eisenhower Matrix, which categorizes tasks into 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. This framework helps you distinguish between what is truly critical and what can wait. The quadrants include urgent and important tasks that require immediate attention and contribute significantly to your goals. These should be your top priority. Important but not urgent activities that are crucial for long-term success but do not need immediate action. Allocate time for these to prevent them from becoming urgent later. Urgent but not important tasks that may seem pressing but do not significantly contribute to your goals. Delegate or minimize these when possible. Neither urgent nor important activities that do not contribute to your objectives and can often be eliminated entirely. Using this matrix allows you to focus your energy where it counts most. 3. Setting SMART goals. Once you've identified your priorities, it's essential to set goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART. This framework ensures that your goals are clear and attainable, providing a roadmap to guide your efforts. For instance, instead of stating, "I want to get fit," a SMART goal would be, "I will exercise for 30 minutes 5 times a week for the next 3 months." Clear, actionable goals make it easier to maintain focus and motivation. 4. Creating a hierarchy of tasks. Not all tasks are created equal. By creating a hierarchy based on their importance and alignment with your goals, You can approach your to-do list more effectively. Start each day by identifying your top 3 priorities. This not only sets the tone for your day, but also helps you stay accountable. When you focus on completing high-priority tasks first, you build momentum that can carry you through the rest of your day. 5. Flexibility and adaptability. While it's essential to have clear priorities, life is unpredictable and circumstances can change rapidly. Being flexible and willing to reassess your priorities is crucial. Regularly review your goals and the tasks you've set, making adjustments as needed. This practice allows you to remain aligned with your evolving circumstances and ensures that you're always working toward what truly matters. 6. Overcoming procrastination. One of the biggest barriers to setting and following through on priorities is procrastination. To combat this, break larger tasks into smaller, manageable steps. This not only makes them less daunting, but also creates a sense of achievement as you complete each step. Additionally, establish deadlines for your tasks, even if they're self-imposed. Accountability can significantly increase your commitment to follow through. 7. Learning to say no. One of the most empowering skills in prioritization is learning to say no. Taking on too many commitments can dilute your focus and energy, leading to burnout. Recognize that every yes to a new task or project is a potential no to something that truly aligns with your goals. Practice asserting your boundaries, and don't be afraid to decline opportunities that don't serve your priorities. 8. Reflection and assessment. Finally, regular reflection on your priorities is vital. Set aside time weekly or monthly to assess what's working and what's not. Are you making progress toward your goals? Are your current priorities still aligned with your values? This practice of reflection will not only keep you accountable, but also help you adapt to changes and refine your approach over time. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere, vying for our attention and often pulling us away from what truly matters. Learning to eliminate distractions is essential for enhancing productivity, achieving goals, and fostering a sense of fulfillment. Here are several key strategies and insights for effectively managing distractions. 1. Identify your distractions. The first step in eliminating distractions is to identify what they are. Distractions can be both external and internal. External distractions include notifications from devices, social media, background noise, and interruptions from colleagues or family members. Internal distractions might be wandering thoughts, anxiety about unfinished tasks, or even daydreaming. Keeping a distraction diary for a week can help you pinpoint specific triggers, allowing you to develop a more targeted approach to manage them. And 2, create a focus-friendly environment. Your physical environment plays a crucial role in your ability to concentrate. Assess your workspace and make necessary adjustments. A clutter-free desk, comfortable seating, and adequate lighting can enhance focus. Consider using noise-canceling headphones if sound is a distraction, or playing soft instrumental music to create a calming atmosphere. Additionally, designating a specific area for work, free from distractions, signals to your brain that it's time to focus. 3. Manage technology wisely. Technology can be a double-edged sword. While it offers tools for productivity, it also presents numerous distractions. Start by turning off non-essential notifications on your devices, especially those from social media and email. Consider using apps or features that promote focus, such as do not disturb modes or website blockers that limit access to distracting sites during designated work periods. Establish specific times for checking emails and messages rather than allowing them to interrupt your workflow continuously. 4. Time blocking and the Pomodoro technique. Structuring your time can greatly enhance focus. One effective method is time blocking, where you allocate specific blocks of time for focused work, breaks, and other activities. The Pomodoro technique is a popular time management method that involves working for 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break. This approach helps maintain concentration while preventing burnout. During work intervals, commit to focusing solely on the task at hand and use breaks to recharge and step away from screens. 5. Prioritize tasks. When faced with a long to-do list, it's easy to become overwhelmed and distracted. Prioritizing tasks can help you focus on what's most important. Use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to categorize tasks by urgency and importance and tackle high priority items first. This not only helps maintain focus, but also creates a sense of accomplishment, boosting motivation as you check tasks off your list. 6. Practice mindfulness and focus techniques. Developing mindfulness can improve your ability to concentrate and manage distractions. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or grounding exercises can help center your thoughts and bring your attention back to the present moment. Regular mindfulness practice enhances your awareness of distractions as they arise, allowing you to acknowledge and set them aside without losing focus. 7. Limit multitasking. Contrary to popular belief, multitasking often decreases overall productivity and increases errors. Focus on one task at a time to improve the quality of your work and reduce the cognitive load that comes with switching between tasks. If you find yourself frequently multitasking, evaluate your workload and see if you can delegate or postpone less critical tasks, allowing for deeper focus on what matters most. 8. Set boundaries with others. If your work environment includes frequent interruptions from colleagues, family members, or friends, it's essential to establish boundaries. Communicate your need for focused work time to those around you. Use visual cues, like a do not disturb sign, or designate specific hours when you're unavailable for social interactions. Establishing these boundaries helps others respect your focus time and reinforces your commitment to eliminating distractions. 9. Reflect on your progress. Regular reflection can help you assess how well you're managing distractions. At the end of each week, take time to review what worked and what didn't. Were there particular distractions that consistently pulled you away from your tasks? Did your strategies for managing distractions prove effective? This self-assessment allows you to adapt your approach, continually refining your focus strategies to fit your unique circumstances. 10. Embrace breaks and downtime. It may seem counterintuitive, but allowing yourself breaks can actually enhance focus and productivity. Stepping away from work, even for a few minutes, can help refresh your mind and restore your concentration. Use this time to stretch, take a walk, or engage in a brief mindfulness exercise. A well-timed break can clear your mind and help you return to your tasks with renewed energy and focus. Reflecting and adjusting are critical components of personal and professional growth. They provide an opportunity to evaluate progress, understand experiences, and make informed changes to strategies and behaviors. Here's a detailed exploration of how to effectively reflect on your actions and make necessary adjustments. 1. The importance of reflection. Reflection is more than just thinking about past experiences. It involves a structured process of analyzing what occurred, why it happened, and what could be done differently. Regular reflection fosters self-awareness, allowing you to gain insights into your strengths, weaknesses, and patterns of behavior. This awareness is essential for continuous improvement, as it helps you recognize areas that require change or enhancement. 2. Set aside time for reflection. To effectively reflect, it's important to carve out dedicated time in your schedule. This could be a weekly review or a monthly check-in. During this time, create a quiet space where you can focus without distractions. Engaging in practices such as journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in silence can help facilitate deeper reflection. Consistency is key. Make it a habit to regularly assess your progress. 3. Ask the right questions when reflecting. Pose specific questions that guide your analysis. Consider questions such as, what were my goals and how did I progress toward them? What challenges did I face and how did I respond? What strategies worked well and which ones did not? How did I feel during this process and what emotional responses did I experience? By asking targeted questions, you can dig deeper into your experiences and gain valuable insights. 4. Analyze outcomes and processes. Reflecting on both the outcomes and the processes involved is essential. Outcomes give you a sense of whether you achieved your goals, but understanding the processes allows you to identify the factors that contributed to those outcomes. For instance, if you completed a project successfully, analyze not just the result, but also the steps you took, the time management techniques you used, and the collaboration with team members. This holistic view helps you replicate successes and learn from setbacks. 5. Embrace a growth mindset. Approaching reflection with a growth mindset is vital. Instead of viewing failures as negative experiences, see them as opportunities for learning and development. This perspective encourages you to extract valuable lessons from every situation, fostering resilience and a willingness to adapt. Acknowledge that growth is a journey, and setbacks are simply stepping stones toward improvement. 6. Document your insights. Writing down your reflections can significantly enhance the clarity of your insights. Consider maintaining a reflection journal where you document your thoughts, feelings, and lessons learned. This practice not only helps reinforce your insights, but also creates a record of your growth journey that you can revisit over time. Looking back at past reflections can provide motivation and remind you of how far you've come. 7. Set clear action steps after reflecting. It's essential to translate insights into action. Identify specific adjustments or changes you want to make based on your reflections. This could involve setting new goals, altering your approach to certain tasks, or developing new skills. Be clear about the steps you intend to take and establish a timeline for implementing these changes. 8. Seek feedback from others. While self-reflection is valuable, obtaining feedback from others can provide additional perspectives that enhance your understanding. Engage trusted colleagues, mentors, or friends in discussions about your performance and decisions. Their insights can help you identify blind spots and provide constructive criticism that may lead to deeper learning. 9. Monitor progress. Regularly implement a system for tracking your progress after making adjustments. Regularly review your goals and the effectiveness of your new strategies. Consider setting milestones that allow you to assess whether you're on the right path. Monitoring your progress creates a feedback loop that encourages continual reflection and adjustment, ensuring you remain aligned with your objectives. 10. Adapt to changing circumstances. Life is dynamic, and circumstances can shift unexpectedly. Being flexible and willing to adapt your goals and strategies in response to new information or changing conditions is essential. Regular reflection helps you stay attuned to these changes, allowing you to pivot effectively when necessary. Embrace the idea that adjustments are not signs of failure, but rather indications of your ability to respond to evolving situations. 11. Foster a culture of reflection. If you're in a leadership position or part of a team, encourage a culture of reflection within your group. Create an environment where team members feel safe sharing their experiences, insights, and lessons learned. Incorporate regular reflection sessions into team meetings, allowing everyone to discuss challenges, celebrate successes, and collectively strategize for improvement.
12. Use technology to aid reflection. Various digital tools and applications can support your reflection process. Consider using apps for journaling, goal tracking, or project management that facilitate documentation and analysis.
These tools can help you organize your thoughts, set reminders for reflection, and visualize your progress over time, making the process more efficient and engaging. By integrating these strategies into your routine, you can develop a systematic approach to reflection and adjustment that enhances your growth journey. This practice not only supports continuous improvement, but also fosters resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges. In our journey toward personal and professional growth, embracing reflection and adjustment is essential for unlocking our full potential. By regularly assessing our experiences, identifying areas for improvement, and making informed changes, we create a dynamic cycle of learning that propels us forward. A growth mindset fuels this process, encouraging us to embrace challenges, learn from feedback, and celebrate our efforts. Through dedicated time for reflection, asking insightful questions, seeking external feedback, and documenting our progress, we cultivate a deeper self-awareness that guides our actions. As we adapt to new circumstances and maintain a flexible approach, we position ourselves to navigate the complexities of life with resilience and confidence. And ultimately, the commitment to reflect and adjust not only enhances our ability to achieve our goals, but also enriches our overall experience, paving the way for continuous growth and fulfillment. Taking action is the bridge between intention and achievement. It transforms dreams into reality and ideas into tangible results. While many of us may set goals or develop plans, the real challenge often lies in the execution. Here are several key principles and strategies to help you move from thought to action effectively. 1. Overcoming fear and resistance. One of the biggest obstacles to taking action is fear, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or even fear of success. Acknowledge that these feelings are normal, but don't let them paralyze you. Understand that every successful person has faced similar fears. Embrace a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth. By confronting your fears head-on, you can reduce their power over you and create a sense of resilience that propels you forward. 2. Break goals into smaller steps. Large goals can be overwhelming, leading to procrastination. To combat this, break your goals down into smaller, manageable tasks. Each small step you take not only brings you closer to your larger objective, but also provides a sense of accomplishment. For example, if your goal is to write a book, start by committing to write a page a day. This gradual approach makes the process less daunting and allows you to build momentum over time. 3. Develop a routine. Establishing a consistent routine can greatly enhance your ability to take action. Routines create structure and make it easier to incorporate productive habits into your daily life. Identify the times of day when you feel most energized and focused, and schedule your most important tasks during these periods. Consistency breeds discipline, and over time, your routine will help you become more proactive in pursuing your goals. 4. Set clear deadlines. Without deadlines, tasks can linger indefinitely. Establishing clear deadlines creates a sense of urgency and accountability. Whether it's a personal project or a work-related task, set specific dates by which you intend to complete each step. If necessary, share your deadlines with someone who can help keep you accountable. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals can motivate you to follow through. 5. Embrace imperfection. The pursuit of perfection can lead to analysis paralysis, where you become so focused on getting everything just right that you never take action at all. Understand that perfection is an illusion. Accept that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Allow yourself to take imperfect action, knowing that you can always adjust and improve as you go. This mindset shift can empower you to move forward without the burden of unrealistic expectations. 6. Cultivate accountability. Accountability is a powerful motivator. Share your goals with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach who can support you and check in on your progress. Consider joining a group of like-minded individuals who are also pursuing their goals. The social aspect of accountability can create a sense of camaraderie and encourage you to take action, knowing that others are on a similar journey. 7. Focus on the why. When motivation wanes, revisiting your underlying reasons for pursuing a goal can reignite your passion. Reflect on why your goal matters to you and how achieving it aligns with your values and aspirations. This emotional connection serves as a powerful motivator, reminding you of the purpose behind your actions and encouraging you to keep pushing forward, even when faced with obstacles. 8. Use visualization techniques. Visualization can be a powerful tool for motivation and action. Take a few moments each day to visualize yourself successfully completing your tasks and achieving your goals. Imagine the feelings of accomplishment and joy that come with success. This mental imagery can help reinforce your commitment and motivate you to take the necessary steps to turn your vision into reality. 9. Reward yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Implement a system of rewards for completing tasks or reaching milestones. This could be as simple as treating yourself to a favorite snack, taking a break to enjoy a hobby, or indulging in a small purchase. Recognizing your achievements reinforces positive behavior and creates a sense of satisfaction that encourages further action. 10. Reflect and adapt. Taking action is an ongoing process that requires reflection and adaptability. Regularly assess your progress and evaluate what is working and what isn't. If you encounter setbacks, instead of viewing them as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and adjust your approach. This practice of reflection allows you to refine your strategies and develop a more effective action plan over time. 11. Stay committed. Persistence is key to achieving any goal. Even when challenges arise or motivation dips, maintaining your commitment to taking action is essential. Remind yourself that progress is rarely linear and that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Cultivating a growth mindset will help you stay focused on your long-term vision, allowing you to push through difficulties and keep moving forward. 12. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with can greatly influence your mindset and motivation. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire you, support your goals, and encourage action. Engage in discussions with those who share your aspirations and seek out mentors who can provide guidance and encouragement. A positive, supportive environment fosters a culture of action and can significantly impact your progress. Cultivating a growth mindset is a transformative approach that can significantly influence how we learn, adapt, and succeed. Rooted in the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication, hard work, and persistence, a growth mindset fosters resilience and a love for learning. Here are several essential elements and strategies for developing this powerful mindset. 1. Embrace challenges. A growth mindset encourages individuals to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as obstacles. When faced with difficulties, instead of feeling defeated, embrace the chance to learn something new. By taking on challenges, you stretch your abilities and expand your knowledge. For instance, if you struggle with public speaking, view each opportunity to present as a chance to improve rather than a source of anxiety. 2. Learn from criticism. Feedback is an invaluable tool for growth, yet many people fear criticism. A growth mindset shifts this perspective, encouraging you to see feedback as constructive and essential for improvement. When receiving criticism, instead of taking it personally, analyze it objectively. Ask questions to understand the underlying points and incorporate that feedback into your development. This process not only enhances your skills, but also builds your resilience against negative emotions. 3. Celebrate effort, not just results. In a society that often emphasizes achievement, it's crucial to recognize and value the effort put into tasks. Celebrating the process rather than solely the outcome fosters motivation and a willingness to try. Acknowledge the hard work you've invested, regardless of the final result. This shift in focus helps you appreciate the journey of learning and growth, reinforcing the understanding that effort leads to improvement over time. 4. Develop a love for learning. Nurturing curiosity and a passion for learning is central to a growth mindset. Engage in activities that expand your knowledge and skills, whether through formal education, self-study, or exploring new hobbies. Seek out new experiences that challenge you, and don't shy away from stepping outside your comfort zone. By cultivating a genuine interest in learning, you enhance your ability to adapt and grow in various aspects of your life. 5. Reframe setbacks. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any journey, but how you respond to them can determine your trajectory. Instead of viewing failures as reasons to give up, see them as valuable learning experiences. Analyze what went wrong, extract lessons, and apply them moving forward. This reframing helps you build resilience and reinforces the belief that growth comes from overcoming challenges, leading to greater perseverance in the face of adversity. 6. Surround yourself with growth-oriented individuals. The people you interact with can greatly influence your mindset. Seek out individuals who embody a growth mindset and inspire you to pursue your goals. Engage in conversations that encourage exploration and challenge conventional thinking. Being part of a supportive community fosters an environment where growth and learning are valued, motivating you to adopt similar attitudes and behaviors. 7. Set learning goals. Rather than solely focusing on achievement-oriented goals, incorporate learning goals into your aspirations. Learning goals emphasize the skills and knowledge you want to acquire rather than the end result. For example, instead of setting a goal to achieve a specific sales target, you might set a goal to learn new sales techniques or improve your communication skills. This approach keeps your focus on personal development and encourages a continuous cycle of improvement. 8. Practice self-compassion. Cultivating a growth mindset requires kindness toward yourself. Understand that everyone makes mistakes and faces challenges, and recognize that these experiences are part of the learning process. When you encounter difficulties, practice self-compassion by speaking to yourself in a supportive and understanding manner. This practice helps reduce negative self-talk and fosters a more positive outlook on your growth journey. 9. Challenge limiting beliefs. Many people hold limiting beliefs about their abilities, often stemming from past experiences or societal expectations. Identify these beliefs and actively challenge them. For example, if you think you're not good at math, reframe that thought to, I can improve my math skills with practice. 10. Reflect on your progress. Regular reflection on your experiences and growth is crucial for developing a growth mindset. Set aside time to assess what you've learned, how you've overcome challenges, and the progress you've made toward your goals. This reflective practice not only reinforces your belief in your ability to grow, but also helps you identify areas for further development. Journaling can be an effective tool for this, allowing you to track your journey and celebrate your achievements along the way. 11. Stay curious and open-minded. Curiosity is a cornerstone of a growth mindset. Cultivate a sense of wonder about the world around you and maintain an openness to new ideas and experiences. Engage in conversations that expose you to different perspectives and encourage critical thinking. This openness fosters adaptability and encourages you to seek out opportunities for learning and growth in every situation. 12. Maintain a long-term perspective. Developing a growth mindset is a lifelong journey. It's essential to maintain a long-term perspective and recognize that growth takes time. Celebrate incremental progress rather than expecting immediate results. 13. Be intentional about language. The language you use can influence your mindset. Practice using growth-oriented language both in self-talk and when communicating with others. Replace phrases like I can't with I can't yet, which implies that improvement is possible. This subtle shift reinforces a belief in potential and encourages a more positive approach to challenges. By integrating these principles and practices into your daily life, you can cultivate a growth mindset that empowers you to embrace challenges, learn from feedback, and continuously develop your abilities. This mindset will not only enhance your personal and professional growth, but also enrich your overall life experience.